Today I attempted the Joey's favourite Pokemon challenge. My name's Joey, and this is today's challenge. My community on Twitch challenged me this time to complete a hardcore Nuzlocke on Pokemon Emerald, only using my team of my favourite 6 Pokemon up to Generation 3. So my standard rules are above here. How I determined my favourite Pokemon was from this website called dragonflycave.com. I'm not sponsored, by the way, where you go through the different rounds of having a group of Pokemon pop up, you click the ones that you like, and this is what the end result looked like for me. I could rant and rave about why some of these are my favourite Pokemon, but it all comes down to a few reasons at the end of the day. Alakazam is my all-time favourite because I grew up playing with Generation 1, and Psychic-type Pokemon were absolutely insane back then, and it still is. As the generations went on, I realised that Pokemon Emerald was my favourite game, where it had some really cool and unique Pokemon, like my boy Whiscash. Plus, he's a Pokemon that people I don't think typically choose, so it's always nice having one of those niche or out-of-the-box Pokemon that no one really thinks about. Looking at these favorites, I actually choose more of a team that I like individually, as well as if I had like a 6 Pokemon to choose if I was a gym leader or an Elite 4 member, so to speak, or a champion. I ended up with these: Alakazam, Whiscash, Ampharos, Sableye, Flygon, and Breloom. Back to the list real quick with all 30 or 40 of these Pokemon. There are some that they've definitely climbed the ranks due to my hardcore Nuzlocke in recent times, when I was introduced back to different ROM hack stuff, and rightfully so, because I hadn't used a lot of these Pokemon growing up. It's kind of like a newfound love for these Pokemon I neglected over the years. So now that we've got our 6, how are we going to determine the starter? Well, that's a good question, Joey. Well, thanks there, Joey. So I've said that over the years, I've really loved Cyndaquil growing up. Part of that growing up process, I've also realized that as my opinions and perspectives change over time, so have my starters. I just think that Mudkip is such a cool looking Pokemon. He turns into a hyper strong Swampert, which is a great typing with Water Ground, and is quite versatile also, where you can teach it Ice Beam, you could go down different routes of how you want him, and plus the internet kinda ruined Typhlosion for me, so unless it's a Hisuian Typhlosion, that's a different story. But that's what I do when I start off the run anyway, so going off the Mudkip, I start with him, I choose him, I name it SimsJ, and away we go. Heading north past Route 101, through Old Ale Town, and north towards Route 103, we find Brendan hanging out in the grass. After defeating him, we got to backtrack to the lab and see Professor Birch once again. Once he blesses us with the Pokedex, we can begin our arduous journey of ASAP Joey's favourite Pokemon challenge. There's nothing too much to start here, so head west and go to Route 102 and eventually hit Petalburg City. Say hello to our dad and meet a funny little character called Wally. Try heading out west, and then until we see another really cool and awesome character that we all love, his name's Scott. More like Scott no friends. Go past Route 104 and make our way towards Petalburg Woods. Our first encounter and 6th favourite Pokemon ranking is here, the pre-evolution Shroomish. We catch it and we name it Boss. Head out to the forest north and pick up an important TM for the first gym leader coming up, Bullet Seed. We're going to teach Boss how to spit some seeds to do some damage. Well, wait, that sounds pretty bad. Oh well, it's in the recording now, deal with it. Head towards Rustboro City and immediately head east of here to Route 116. We're going to capture the #1 favourite Pokemon of my illustrious list. The pre-evolution, obviously, if you haven't picked up in this video or how excited I am or the previous videos that I've put up, Abra. I use my streamer trump card here and I name it Joey. Hey, wait, whoa. I never get to claim any Pokemon here, so let me have this one, guys, come on. Anyways, I thought I'd get him now to save the trouble for later. We're pretty much free to verse Roxanne now, by the way. Now that we've leveled Boss and we've taught him Bullet Seed, that's what we start off with. A nice critical hit on the Geodude to kick off the first gym leader. Nice. Now, remember how I said edging is good here, guys? It's proven here once again that we get the Mega Drain. Her second Geodude is out and we spit the seeds once again. Nosepass comes out and I get blocked, so Boss has got to do it all by himself. I use Leech Seed first to set up before using another Bullet Seed. He uses Harden this time, and after Boss drank some Boba Juice, it's helped him out here and he gets the 5-time proc. And nabs us our first badge of the run. Grab cut from the dude here and go past where the Team Aquagrunt ran off to. End up at Rusturf Tunnel and help the old man in the process. After telling us he can take us towards the seas with his ship, make our way over to him south. But before we go, we have an optional rival fight here and I decide to take it. I have to be a proper fighting champion, right guys? So Brendan brings out his Wingull and Joey comes out. I use Confusion to put him away, and doing the same with the Trico too, it's not too hard stuff. So finally traversing all the way back south through through Petalburg Woods, we end up at Route 104, and we enter the house this time. He takes us on his tugboat named Tugger, and we're arrived at Dewford Town. Heading north to Route 106, let's enter the cave and take the letter to Stephen, and also grab our 4th favorite Pokemon from here, Sableye. The first floor has him actually, so don't forget to go here particularly in this cave. We name it Ding Dong, and we add him to our party.
Ding Dong.
Who's there?
KGB.
Try get the door. I'm not answering.
Finding Stephen now, we finally give him the letter and we head outside the cave. Nothing much else here to do but to thrash the gym leader here, Brawly. We start off with Ding Dong against his Machop here, and honestly, my 2-year-old nephew could play this out, and it's a bit of a cakewalk. Seeing as none of these fighting type Pokemon can actually hit Ding Dong, we're pretty much free to use Nightshade on every single Pokemon he's got to offer here. I went back in the VOD and it actually took me around 3 full minutes of the playthrough time, so it's a little bit of monotonous stuff. Either way, we secure the 2nd badge now, so let's over to Slateport City via Tugger. Passing over the Devon Goods, Scott No Friends annoys us again, and we head north to Route 110. We've got another Brendan fight coming up, so let's approach it with a bit of caution here. He's got a Slugma now, and I start off with Sim as he's evolved into a Marshtomp. I start off with Mudshot and I put him away. He sends out Grovyle and I swap over to Ding Dong. He uses Absorb and I fake out on the next turn. He uses Pursuit and I hit back with a Nightshade. I beat him on the Speed Tie and I defeat him with another Nightshade. He's got the Wingull now and he's using Supersonic on me this time. Powering through, I use another Nightshade and I put him on half health. I swap over to Joey and he uses Water Gun. One confusion later, Brendan is defeated once again. Continuing north to Moorville City, I bring the lady her harbor mail so I can get the coin case. Why would I need a coin case? I don't do any gambling. Pfft, come on. Psych!
Gotcha, bitch!
Yes, I do, but not right now. I immediately go to Watson and I bring out my Marshtomp for the sweep. He starts off with his Voltorb and he starts using Rollout. My Mudshot connects and it puts it away. Electrike comes out now and he eats some mud too. Magneton arrives and misses with the Supersonic. He's got a mouthful of mud here also, and before I know it, Manectric is out already. He starts to setting up with the Howl and he just survives on the shot here. The Berry Procs putting it back on half HP and eating up another quick attack. I follow up with another mud shot and it's all smiles so far. 3 out of 8 badges claimed. For a bit of a move type coverage now, I get an Ice Beam for Sim. Heading north to Route 111 and then to Route 112, we head towards Fiery Path. Going north of Route 111, we head east to Route 113 and eventually hit Fall Arbor Town. Make sure you grab Dig from the house here because we'll be utilizing here for the upcoming gym battle and the fights for the Team Magma as well. Route 14 is just west and head south towards Meteor Falls. These guys are having some sort of a secret meeting and they won't tell me what it's all about. I've seen this kind of secrecy before.
It's a secret!
Shut up.
Heading south of the cave, we're out at Route 115 now and completed the square as we're back at Rustboro. Head all the way back to Fiery Path, but this time head towards the top right towards the cable car. We're at Mount Chimney and the Secret War Marvel Edition, but Pokemon Edition, has completely blown up now. Defeat all the Team Magma Grunts until we verse Maxi at the end. As Maxi brings out his Mightyena, we're giving Boss some more screen time. I start by using a Mach Punch and he hits a bite on me. Hitting back with a Sand Attack, Boss wipes it out of his eyes and he hits the Leech Seed. Putting him past half health now, my Mach Punch connects and down he goes. Oh no, look who's back. It's Critical Hit Camerupt. If you know, you know. As I swap over to Sim, yep, he's setting up with the focus energy here now, as expected. I hit the mud shot and I put him in the red. He's already started now, and before he goes, a magnitude 8. And luckily, no crit this time. As Maxi heals, I use Water Gun and I put him on 1 HP. Another Super Potion and another Water Gun defeats him. No crits for you, dickhead. Lastly, his Zubat is out and I swap over to Joey. He uses Wing Attack, which does some pretty nasty damage here. 1 Psybeam later and Maxi is defeated. Man, I really do have PTSD after the Camerupt, hey. Heading south to Jagged Pass, we exit and find ourselves close to the 4th gym leader and Lava Ridge Town. Remember grabbing Dig earlier? We're gonna give it to Sim instead of Mudshot, and look, I probably should have done it sooner, but I was actually umming and ahhing whether I decide to use it for Flygon later. But it doesn't matter anyway, so here's Flannery, she's the gym leader here, and she sends out her Numel first. I start with Sim and already start using Dig. I'm fortunate that she uses Takedown here instead of Sunny Day. Slugma is up next and my Dig connects too. Cameruptor's out and I'm sticking to my dig strat. Since I'm fortunate to have a boy Marshtomp, she uses Attract rather than Sunny Day first. Another one shot and we're pretty safe tier, so Torkoal comes up next and I use dig once again. She actually starts by using the Sunny Day finally. Putting her to half HP, she uses Attract. I go for the dig and it procs. Now, powering through this time, I get hit with a Body Slam and I have to swap out to Ding Dong. Banking on her using Body Slam once again, she actually does use it and I use Fake Out. Swapping back over to Sim, she uses Overheat and I'm free to dig once again. Perfectly swapping out when needed be, it all goes in my favor and Flannery is defeated. We grab some goggles and we also get our 5th favorite pre-evolution here, the Trapinch. Heading over to the desert, we catch it and we name it Gaming Bird. Before we head back and make some preparations for the next gym, I head back to Fiery Path and I grab Toxic after moving some boulders. Now, this is going to be a rather cheesy strat that I'm going to be doing, and it's got to be done for the challenge though, so sorry not sorry. So we're going to go up against my dad, Norman. Much like the Brawly strat where they couldn't hit us here, we're going to be carrying over with the same mentality with Norman here using Ding Dong. I taught Ding Dong Toxic and specifically for this hard-hitting slacking, so I'll break it down for you guys here real quick. So, Sableye being a ghost dark type here, I've cooked up an insane strat that's never ever been seen before. I know this game's been out for 20 plus years, but until this YouTube channel, today I'm gonna go through it all for you. So, my moveset is Toxic, Detect, Feint Attack, and Fake Out. Going up against Norman slacking, he has an ability called Truant here, where after every action he does, he gives up his next turn. Dumb ability, right? Well, actually not really. When he's stupidly fast and he hits like a truck, I'm going to be slowing this truck right down when we get to it. So Jarvis, roll the clip here. Norman starts off the Spinder and I bring in Ding Dong. I use Fake Out first and I follow up with a Feint Attack. Now, before the fight, I chucked on a Person Berry specifically for the Spinder's Teeter Dance. I stay in and I use Feint Attack and I leave him with 1 HP. He uses Teeter Dance again and I swap over to Boss. He heals and he uses Psybeam on the following turn. I use Leech Seed and it hits. I swap over back to Boss and he uses a Psybeam which does nothing. The Leech Seed procs and I use Fake Out. As the seed goes out, formulated a strat here now where even though it's going to take a lot of time here, I can swap over to Boss as he goes for the Teeter Dances. So as it goes out, he'll be setting up the Psybeam, which I can just swap back to Ding Dong, Fake Out, Seed, rinse repeat until he's dead. Eventually he falls and he brings out the Vigoroth. I swap out to Boss again and I swap out to Ding Dong. I'm trying to stall and hit the Toxic here and it connects this time round. He uses Feint Attack and it actually doesn't do too much damage here. I must have had a brain fart here because he hits another Feint Attack and I use Toxic by mistake. I go back out to Boss and he hits another Feint Attack. Swapping back to Ding Dong, he uses Slash this time, which is good. I bait out the normal attacks for Ding Dong, use Feint Attack here for the Breloom to swap out for, one more swap and the Toxic damage kills him. He brings out Lanoon earlier than expected, and it's actually really good for me here because I've already got Boss out. I hit the Mac Punch and I almost kill it. He can't use Belly Drum now and he tried to go for it here, so very, very fortunate stuff. He heals and I put him back into the red, one more puts it away, and now the slacking comes out. If you thought the other Pokemon earlier was the intricate parts of the fight, no, think again. I haven't even started. He uses a Facade on me and I put Boss to 1 HP. After having the fight so perfectly calculated, I almost threw it all away right here. I actually paralyze him from the effect spore and I get the Leech Seed off. Now, this isn't good here, but I can maneuver around it still. I swap over to Ding Dong as he's in Truant. As the Leech Seed goes, you have to perfectly play these turns out, and now that he's paralyzed, I can't even do my Toxic strat that I wanted to show you guys. I use Fake Out here and I Detect on the following turn. I don't recall this right, and I detected for no reason basically. He's free to attack now and he hits the Yawn. I'm back on track now and his Citrus Berry procs. I swap over to Sim on the Truant turn and I swap over back to Ding Dong. He fortunately gets paralyzed and I use Feint Attack. On the next turn after the Leech Seed, he's left on 1 HP and I finally put him in the ground the following turn. I didn't even get to show you guys the evil Toxic strat, but look, nonetheless on the fly we adjusted and we beat Norman. Man. Obtaining Surf from next door, head back to Moorville City and head east towards Route 118. Now, before we do anything else here, grab the Good Rod after surfing across from the Fisherman, head back to Route 11 because we're getting another Pokemon here, none other than my boy Whiscash. We grab the Barboach and we name him Fischls. Saying hi to Steven past the Fisherman now, progress north past Route 119 until we eventually hit the Weather Institute. Using Boss and Fischls here, we can head north here for another Brendan fight. He starts off with the Slugma and I use Fischls for the Surf. Grovyle comes out and I swap over to Boss. Tanking the Leaf Blade, I swap over to Ding Dong to bait the Fury Cutter, but he instead uses Screech. I use Fake Out and he follows up with the Pursuit and I hit the Toxic to stall him out. I use Detect on the following turn and I swap over to Boss. He eats the Leaf Blade and I swap over to Ding Dong. A big Leaf Blade connects and I use Fake Out to finish him off. Pelipper comes out and I swap over to Fischls. Using the Protect, it uses another one afterwards and he goes for a third. That's it, I'm getting a timer here. You greedy, greedy man. Or bird. Using Ice Beam afterwards, he uses Protect again. Actual Protect Merchant. I hit the Ice Beam again and oh my god. We actually get the freeze. That's what you get, you stupid Protect Merchant. One more puts him away and Brendan is done. Obtaining Fly now, let's go further to Four Tree City and head past to Route 120. Meeting up with Steven, he gives us the Devon scope so we can flush out and tells us to kill all Kecleon in the universe.
Hey, sexy mama. Wanna kill all
Kecleon, not really, he actually just doesn't see that, but boy oh boy do I hope so. I hate Kecleon. Now, a little bit of preparation coming into the next gym fight. I've got my classic rule of, if you can evolve it, you can do it. So I trade over my Kadabra for an Alakazam. Ready up my Ice Beams on Sim and Fischls, and now we're free to take on Winona. She starts off with a Swablu, and I use Fischls. One Ice Beam kills it off, and she brings out Tropius. He doesn't have a prominent Grass-type move off memory, so I stay in and I use Ice Beam again, and we hit the crit. Protect Merchant is back here, and yep, look at that. He uses it straight away. I use Amnesia here, and he uses Protect again on the following turn. I beat the Speed Tie here, and I use it once again to connect. He uses Aerial Ace, which is all goods. One more Ice Beam, and he's in the yellow. He hits a Supersonic on me, and I chucked on a Personberry before the fight started. One more Ice Beam puts him on 1 HP, and after anticipating the heal, I bring Joey in for the Shockwave, which was given by Watson earlier. Skarmory is out, and I swap over to Sim. I use Ice Beam, and it doesn't do too much at all here. I swap back to Joey, and he eats a Sand Attack. Using Shockwave here, I put him in the red. Once again with another Sand Attack, he heals the next turn, and I use Shockwave twice to defeat him. Altaria is out now, and I swap over to Boss. He hits the Dragon Dance, and that is not good. I swap over to Ding Dong, and it's a lot of damage here. So I swap over back to Fischls, and he hits the Dragon Dance once again, and I hit the Ice Beam. Putting him in the red, and oh my days. Fischls has got the Midas touch, but instead of turning it to gold, he's turning him into an ice block. I am the luckiest man alive as Fischls smashes him, another badge and another calculated win. Heading back east to Route 120, then follow up to Route 121 until we hit the Safari Zone. This is a place where I actually never go into for my normal runs, but the final and third favorite pre-evolution here is to complete the Joey's favorites team, which is the Mareep. Now, beforehand I actually didn't realize this when I was doing my research. Mareep actually isn't available until post-game, and I'm already 5 hours deep into the run. Otherwise, I would have just gone with another Pokemon. Oh look, a special Mareep has appeared in the Safari Zone. How lucky of me for the Streamer Seed. We name it Wilkos, and we've fully completed the 6 favorites in the party. Now, as for fairness, I've had to put Sim into the PC and thank him for his efforts. We simply cannot use him anymore as it doesn't fulfill the actual challenge requisites. As I head over to Lily Cove City, we have one more Brendan fight and we can progress further in the story and the game. Versing him for the last time here, he starts off with a Tropius and we use our, now, Ampharos. He starts off by using Magical Leaf and I hit the Thunderbolt. Sweet Scent comes out and I finish it off with another Thunderbolt. Grovyle's out again and I swap over to Boss. He hits me with a Screech and I swap over to Ding Dong. Hitting another Screech on me and I use Fake Out, then I swap back over to Boss. He hits a Leaf Blade and I swap back to Ding Dong. Another Screech and I use Fake Out to chip away at this time. The same strat swapping back and forth, I get the proc with my Effect Spore and the poison hits out on the Grovyle, so lucky me. Another Leaf Blade coming out actually, and it does some big damage, so I down him with another Fake Out and the poison damage afterwards too. Slugma comes out and I swap over to Fischls. He hits the Amnesia and I use Surf. Fucker is saved on 1 HP after that. He uses Harden and I finish him off finally. The Merchant has arrived now and there he goes too. I hit the Ice Beam this time, and his Supersonic misses. Back to the Protect, he finally hits the Supersonic after another Ice Beam, and swapping over to Wilkos, he eats another Wing Attack. Then I destroy him with the Thunderbolt, and after, of course, uses Protect once again. Heading over to Mount Pyre, we actually grab the Shadow Ball here first before heading to the top. Obtaining the Magma Orb, we head all the way over back to the secret Stonecutters entrance of Team Magma, and eventually finding Maxi to verse him once again. However, I did see something a little bit odd about this place.
All we own, all we own, we own.
His Mightyena comes out and I start off with Boss. One Mach Punch critical hit and he's done. He brings out Crobat now and I swap over to Wilcox. He hits the Confuse Ray and I get hit by it too. An Air Cutter comes out this time and he shakes it off immediately. The Thunderbolt connects and he's done too. Critical Hit guy is out now and Gaming Bird is made his first appearance. Anticipating the Earthquake, I swap over to Fischls and he uses Amnesia now. Hitting the Surf and almost killing him, he uses another Amnesia before dying. Heading to Slateport now, the nerd is doing an interview explaining why I'm the greatest OCE hardcore Nuzlocke prodigy, and now we head over to Aqua Hideout to chase after for the submarine that they stole. Defeating the team admin Matt with ease, we can finally head more east towards Moss Deep City for the next gym leaders, Tate and Liza. It's a pretty decent strat I'm coming in with the double battle here, so we bring out Ding Dong and Fischls here against the Xatu and the Claydol. I fake out the Claydol and I get hit with the Confuse Ray on Fischls. Of course I get hit here and I'm already on the back foot. Xatu sets up with the Calm Mind and Claydol hits the Earthquake. Fischls snapped out immediately and hits the Surf. I use Shadow Ball on the Claydol and is destroyed. Soul Rock comes out and I swap Fischls over to Joey. Xatu hits the Psychic and Joey eats it up. Soul Rock is looking for the Solar Beam now and I hit the Shadow Ball on the Xatu with a massive critical hit. Lastly, Lunatone comes in and I swap Ding Dong over to Boss. Solar Beam hits Joey and I use Recover. Calm Mind is used on the Lunatone here and I swap back over to Ding Dong. Joey uses Psychic on the Soul Rock and now he uses Sunny Day. Lunatone's Psychic does nothing to Ding Dong and I use Fake Out on the next turn on the Lunatone. Psychic eats away at the Soul Rock and Solar Beam hits Ding Dong as he's on low HP now. The Berry procs and I swap over to Boss. Joey's Psychic hits Soul Rock with a big crit and now we're 2v1. Light Screen comes out and I Psychic away. I can bait the Lunatone with Sableye and Breloom while Joey chips away here. So since Lunatone can't hit Ding Dong, I can leave him in with the Hypnosis and it goes off. He's taking a little bit of a different strat here, but he actually wakes up and hits the Shadow Ball to defeat him, which was a really well played fight. Helping out Steven in the fight afterwards, we grab Dive off him and we head over to the submarine, passing through all the puzzles and we take on Archie. He starts off with the Mightyena and I use Boss to start off with a Mach Punch. Using Scary Face after he heals immediately, which is so unheard of, but regardless, it's better for me. I swap over to Crobat though and I bring in Wilcox. Wing Attack is used and I use him with the Paralysis from the Static ability. I use Thunderbolt and he's gone. Mightyena is back and I stay in with the Thunderbolt. Yet another Super Potion comes out and I put him on 1 HP. He uses Swagger and yeah, I've hit myself again. Yep, of course. Swapping out to Boss, he uses Takedown and he's done the work for me to kill himself. Sharpedo comes out and he uses Swagger. Of course I hit myself with some massive damage and I gotta swap out, so I bring in Ding Dong and he uses Slash as I called it. Faking out first, I use Shadow Ball after he misses with the Swagger. The second one connects and the Person Berry I had procs. The Shadow Ball, he is done once and for all. Watching the big boys fight a Satopolis, I head over to the Cave of Origin and I say hi to Wallace. And then I make my way over to Rayquaza's home of Sky Pillar. After he flies away, we see him telling the kids to keep the noise down from the epic scene that we're about to finally see, take on Juan with quite possibly the hardest gym leader out there for the lot of this current challenge. Now, as I was edging my Pokemon up, I actually found a shiny Shuppet. Check this out. I found a shiny! I found a shiny Shuppet! So we catch it and we named it Ados. That'll make for a funny TikTok later on. Alright, so now they're at full capacity of my favorite Pokemon, finally getting a Flygon now, we take on Juan. We start with Joey against his Love Disc. I use Psychic here and he goes down. Crawdaunt comes out and I swap over to Boss. As he uses Taunt, I follow up with a Mega Drain, which does half of his HP. He uses Cram Hammer and I eat it up. Another Mega Drain and he's donezo. He brings out Celio and I swap over to Fischls. He hits the Aurora Beam and it actually crits me, which is pretty annoying here. So I swap over to Ding Dong, trying to call the Body Slam here, and he hits me with an Aurora Beam. Fake Out does a fair bit, and I hit the Shadow Ball afterwards. He swaps over to Water Pulse, and I finish him off using Shadow Ball. Whiscash comes out, and I swap over to Gaming Bird. Calling the Earthquake, I swap over to Boss and he uses Amnesia. The following turn, I use Mega Drain and he goes for another Amnesia. I use Leech Seed this time to set up and he uses Earthquake. Using Mega Drains and eating up the Earthquakes, I think it's pretty much wraps. On 1 HP, he heals, and after a few turns, he actually uses Rain Dance here, which isn't good at all. He's setting up for the Swift Swim Kingdra up ahead. I end up swapping to Gaming Bird and he uses another heal. I swap over to Boss and I'm delaying the turns here until it runs out. Water Pulse hits Boss and I do the same strat, hoping I can defeat him before he hits another Rain Dance. I've timed this perfectly and he uses Water Pulses and Earthquakes and finally kill him with the Leech Seed. The Kingdra finally comes out and I swap over to Joey. Double Team is used and I'm setting up Calm Mind for a fat Psychic at the end. For every Double Team use, I hit the Calm Mind because I only need one Psychic to hit to finish the battle off. He swaps over to using Water Pulse now and I'm just playing the waiting game. I finally get it off after 3 tries and I think he is done. Cop that, dog. All the badges are mine now so we can prepare for the end game. Heading up the waterfall towards Victory Road, we have one more fight beforehand with Wally. Honestly, just use Ice Beam, Psychics, and swap over where to need beat to negate the attacks from his Gardevoir. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, we're here at the Elite Four where Joey's favorites Pokemon challenge will culminate, and to be honest with you guys, I've never actually done anything like this before in any playthrough of any Pokemon game ever, not even as a kid. I've had a few favorites here and there growing up or used when the new games are popping out for it, but never a 6 Pokemon as like a proper Joey's favorite challenge. These are quite literally my favorite Pokemon coming up to Gen 3, and I'm gonna put it all to the test to see if they can actually do it here. Let's go through the rundown movesets, shall we? Alakazam was Psychic, Shadow Ball, Calm Mind, and Recover. Whiscash was Surf, Amnesia, Ice Beam from coins, and Earthquake. Ampharos with Thunderbolt from the coins, Strength, Thunder Wave, and Thunder from the department store. Sableye with Shadow Ball, Detect, Toxic from Fiery Path and Fake Out, Flygon with Crunch, Earthquake, Flamethrower from Coins, and Dragon Claw from Meteor Falls. Lastly, a Brainloom with Mach Punch, Focus Punch from Coins, Substitute from the department store, and Leech Seed. Don't forget your family-friendly drugs, heals, ethers, berries, anything and everything else to play your heart out at the end. Let's go to work. Sydney's up first and he brings out his Mighty Anna. I use Boss here and I start with the Substitute. He uses Sand Attack and it's going great so far. I start using Focus Punch strat and he uses Double Edge to get rid of the Substitute. He's downed and brings in the Absol. I use another Substitute and he uses Aerial Ace to get rid. I swap over to Wilcox and he uses Aerial Ace again. Following up with Swords Dance, I hit the Thunderbolt and I demolish him. Shiftry comes out and starts using Double Team. I hit the Thunder Wave and I swap over to Gaming Bird. After the Double Team, I use Flamethrower to put him in the red. He uses Swagger this time round and I swap over to Wilcox. As he heals, he hits a Double Team and my Thunder Wave hits again. I swap over to Gaming Bird again and he hits a Double Team. GB's got a laser focus on him and puts him in the red yet again. And another Flamethrower puts him in the bin and he brings out his Cacturn. Yet another Flamethrower and another death. Crawdaunt is out last and I use Earthquake to put him low. He uses Swords Dance and after the heal, it's pretty much wraps. First one down. Phoebe is up next and she has a Dusclops with everybody's favorite, Protect. I called this beautifully as I want to set up with the Calm Mind. After the second Protect, I use Psychic to put him away. Banette comes out and Banette goes out. Her second Banette comes out and the Psychic Train just keeps coming till I hit the second Dusclops and he's on 2 HP. The Citrus Berry procs and after he goes down, Sableye comes out. I swap over to Wilcox and he tanks a hit. After I use Thunderbolt, I put him on 1 HP also and he uses Double Team. I missed the Thunderbolt however though afterwards, but not once, but twice. He's setting up with a Double Team again, and the third one misses also. He's freely using Shadow Ball in me now, and my fourth Thunderbolt doesn't hit either. Great! After another Shadow Ball, I'm getting pissed off now, so I swap over to Gaming Bird. I hit the Earthquake, and once again, Laser Focus GB clutches up, second one down. Glacier is here, and she starts off with the Celio. Wilcox starts things off for us and hits a big Thunderbolt. The first Glalie arrives, and he uses Light Screen, and I swap over to Ding Dong. One Fake Out, and I forget he has Inner Focus here, which he uses Ice Beam later, and I'm punished for it. I swap over to Officials, and he eats some damage. I use Earthquake, which does some nice damage too, and I get hit with an Icy Wind. Being slower now because he hit the Ice Beam first, I finish it off with an Earthquake. After Celio comes out, I swap over to Wilcox. He sets up with the Hail and I hit the Thunderbolt. The second Glalie is out now and I use Thunderbolt once again. Now in the yellow and within explosion range, I swap out to Ding Dong and I called this perfectly. War Raid is out last and I use Fake Out. Following this up, I swap to Joey and he uses Ice Beam. Now, I didn't realize I had no more Psychic PP until afterwards, but I calm-minded here and then I use Recover. He hits a Body Slam with a Paralysis and he hits another Body Slam afterwards. I hit a Shadow Ball and I swap out to Ding Dong. Baiting out the Body Slam, I use Fake Out once again and I swap out to Boss this time. He actually uses Surf here and I go for the Mac Punch. Putting him in the kill zone, he uses Ice Beam and Boss goes down. First death of the run, and Boss's sacrifice here at the most optimal time. I bring in Wilcox and he has the berry for the heal, eat up the Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt puts him away. Guys, there had to be a sacrifice here, and I think Boss needed to die here for the greater good. There's going to be more carnage here, and I'm going to hand it to Drake. He starts off with Shelgon, and I use Gaming Bird here. He hits the Protect first, and the second turn, I use Dragon Claw, and he's done. His own Flygon comes out, and the battle of the Bug Dragons commences. My Dragon Claw puts him on 1 HP, and I get hit with a Dragon Breath. Using one heal now, I use another Dragon Claw, which does the same damage, and then after one more, Altaria comes out. Another Dragon Claw, and another big chunk of damage. Altaria uses Dragon Dance, and follows up with a Dragon Breath. GB holding on now, his Dragon Claw connects, and now it's the Kingdra who's out. I swap over to Joey, and he uses Surf. Remember our Juan strat? Same deal. Using Calm Mind, he follows up with the Dragon Dance. And staying in, I eat up the Body Slam and I use Recover. I swap over to Ding Dong and he uses Dragon Dance again. He's outsmarted me this time round, so I use Fake Out once and he uses Surf, to which I retaliate with Toxic. I swap over to Wilcox and he hits a Surf. Using Smokescreen now, I use Thunderbolt and it actually hits. The poison damage ticks over and I can't believe it against all the odds as well. We're not done yet here though, as Salamence comes out and he uses Dragon Claw. Getting hit by the static, I follow up with the Thunderbolt and I proc his berry too. Using another Thunderbolt and putting him in the red, he uses Dragon Claw and I know he's gonna heal. So I miss with the Thunderbolt afterwards and bring in Fischls. Dragon Claw hits and I use Ice Beam for almost a one-hit KO. Fischls survives and Drake is gone too. A nail-biter of a fight. The very last fight of the Joey's favorite challenges here, guys, Wallace. He's got a plethora of water-type Pokemon, and he's a really well-rounded typing here with a champion too. So let's put all of our focus in and decimate him once and for all. He kicks off with Wailord, and I start off with Wilcox. He uses Double Edge, and he gets hit by the static. I follow up with the Thunderbolt, and he actually goes down here to my surprise. Gyarados comes out now, and I swap over to Gaming Bird. He starts using Dragon Dance, and with the second time here now, I think I'm absolutely stomped from this point on. He uses Hyper Beam, and there's no chance I'm surviving that. Thank you for your service, Gaming Bird. I bring in Wilcox for the Thunderbolt while he's recharging, and he brings in the Whiscash. I swap over to Fischls, and he uses Amnesia. The Battle of the Fishies, and we're going back and forth with the damages as I hit the early Earthquakes out first, forcing the heals, keep using Earthquake where I can. In a last effort, he uses Hyper Beam, which almost kills me on a critical hit. Yeah, of course it does. And I finish him off once and for all. Fischls is just better. Ludicolo's out now, and I hit the Ice Beam for a last effort. A big critical hit, by the way, and I clap for his efforts at the end as he goes down. I bring Joey in and I start using Calm Mind. He starts using Double Team, and I treat him like we did with the Kingdra earlier. It's basically a Wish version of Kingdra. Another Calm Mind, and he uses Surf this time. A third Calm Mind, and he uses a Leech Seed. I hit an absolute heater of a Psychic, and he's downed. Tentacruel comes out, and I've set this up perfectly for the future Pokemon as he's going to bring in. Psychic is used on the Tentacruel, and as expected, he goes down. Lastly comes out the Milotic. A 3-stage calm-minded Alakazam versus a Milotic. He's done some pretty big damage here, and along with the berry procking, but as I'm on low HP, there is no way I pass the opportunity, and what do you know, guys? Joey has pulled off the 3 Pokemon sweep at the end. Being a 3-stage Calm Mind as well, with the 3rd generation of Pokemon being completed with the Joey's Favorites Challenge. That was actually a very exciting and a very fun challenge that culminated, and my community on Twitch suggested to me as well, so thank you everyone who actually put that idea forward. Apologies for the Mareep post-game stuff, otherwise I would have changed my team up, but regardless, with our very special Mareep coming through on the Safari Zone, the challenge is completed. I hope you guys on YouTube enjoyed that as much as I did. I got to show you all my favorite Pokemon, and I actually got to complete a run with them too. So if you did, please comment, like, share out, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to see some more weekly or bi-weekly challenges that are unique to the regular, let me know if you want to see some more. I stream full-time on Twitch, so come and join us, and I'm currently celebrating 4 years as a Twitch partner, doing a Pokemon Imperium Reset challenge. I'm over at twitch.tv/ASAPJoey. The next challenges awaits us, and I'll see you guys there.